Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, 9:03 p.m. I am James, you are you, we are here for another edition of At Home with James. Which edition is it? Are we at 119, 120 something? I don't remember. I know that we made the enormous jump from Instagram Live to Twitch on August 4th, and that was episode 100. It is now September 2nd. We do 5 a week. Somebody in the chat do the math. Someone is going to be able to figure this out. August 4th to September 2nd, what episode is this? Once we hit 100, I stopped counting because am I going to have a special episode for 111? You can't do that. That's a nothing episode. Unless that was a really good episode, in which I don't mean to disparage the people that were on that show. Folks, last night, I had a huge announcement. It was bigger than huge. This Saturday, 9 o'clock p.m., twitch.tv/athomewithjames. It is the first annual James Birthday Bash edition of this show. I have no control over what happens. A variety of guests, none of which I will be appraised of. Everyone who handles this show will be in total and utter control as to what happens. I'm just going to be here. So if you ever wondered, what is it like to go to James's birthday party? Now you're going to know. I hold all of my birthday parties from this day forward on Twitch. That's the man that I am now. That was yesterday's big announcement. Folks, I have breaking news. I never thought this was going to be a culturally relevant show. When I started this in the months of March, I never thought, you know what, one day I'm going to spread news that's going to really matter and shake the world and society to its core. Breaking news, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I'm so sad to report this, has contracted COVID-19. I repeat, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, notorious and famous for being a pro wrestling champion, Hollywood actor, and beefcase, has COVID-19. Good news, he still is the new owner of the XFL. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, breaking news, has COVID-19. Now, some of you might be thinking, James, is this a new fun bit at the top of the show where you announce that different celebrities have COVID-19? As I say that, I think that's fun. I think that tomorrow night, who am I going to announce as having COVID-19? But I can assure you that Dwayne Johnson, otherwise known as The Rock, otherwise known as a man who eats giant stacks of pancakes on his Instagram account, has the COVID-19 illness. Which leads me to this point. If The Rock can get it, any of us can get it. So I know you're out there, especially if you're in Montreal and you're getting relaxed. You're going to sex clubs. You're getting jiggy with it. Huh? You don't think that there's repercussions and consequences? All The Rock does is eat protein powder, work out, and drink his line of tequila, and he got COVID-19. I want to know how The Rock got it. And I want that to be a lesson to everyone out there going to sex parties and birthday events in the park or improv practices. If The Rock can get COVID, you can get COVID. Now, if that is not a sobering way to start the show, I don't know what is. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today. I'm going to just be wide open with this. This person used to be my Pilates instructor. Okay? Now, are you thinking to yourself, James, is this another bit? Are you doing a funny bit? Does The Rock really have COVID and you do Pilates? Yes, I did it. I did Pilates because I'm not in good shape. I have sore knees and apparently a bad back. But I did Pilates. I was talking to my former Pilates coach and current friend, and she told me that someone she knows is so bored during the times of COVID that they have resorted to picking up trash in a park to stay busy. And to me, that felt poetic. That aren't we all just looking for trash to pick up right now? Whether it's friendships or things to do or romantic partners, we're all just searching and walking the streets looking for trash to pick up. And if I can be your trash, if you were wandering aimlessly throughout your days, if you don't have the luxury of working 9 to 5 and you're looking at the clock and you're thinking, oh, it's 11 o'clock, still got many hours until the At Home with James show. Or if you're somebody else and you're looking at your stopwatch and you're like, oh, it's 3 p.m., only a couple more hours until Live with James, because people still get the name of the goddamn show wrong. Or are you looking at your alarm clock and you go, oh, it's 6 o'clock, only 3 more hours until James at Home, because they still get the name wrong. Allow me to be the trash to your garbage person. Look at me as the person you want to take a stick with a pointy end and plunge that stick into. Let me be your empty Doritos bag. Let me be your semi-used condom. Let me be your can of Miller Lite, because that's what I am to you. And that's what I want to be. That's what I need to be. I wake up just like everyone else and I put my best jogging pants on and I think, well, there's only 9 hours until the Twitch show. What am I going to do? 3 walks? Talk to some friends on the phone? You know what I did before the show? I ate leftover spaghetti au gratin. Now, if you don't know what spaghetti au gratin is, it's spaghetti that you shred a bunch of mozzarella cheese on and put in the oven. You call that the poor man's lasagna. Or if you're from Quebec, you'd call it lasagne pour pauvre. That's what you would call it. That's what I was doing. But go out there and find your own half-eaten spaghetti au gratin. Because isn't that the way they say it goes, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Bit of Jim Croce. Anyone out there like Jim Croce? I do. On tonight's show, we've got Alex Brown. Now, last time you saw Alex, I believe she was competing against a certain someone in a certain segment known as Nerd versus Noob, and she ran away with the competition. Out of 3 scenarios, she was victorious. She will be back tonight, and she will be discussing the time-honored tradition of birthdays with me, because someone's got a birthday. I wonder who. I am that someone. We're going to be discussing birthdays. But talking about Nerd versus Noob, we have what some would call the featured player of Nerd versus Noob. What some would call the resident nerd of At Home with James. Marc Rowland is going to be here. But I have to announce another breaking news bulletin. There will not be Nerd versus Noob tonight, and I'm going to get into that in just a moment. And a little bit later on, I understand that I'm going to be visited for the first time ever by a guest who is coming to us all the way from New Orleans. We've had guests here from Montreal, from Villemard, all the way down to Little Burgundy. We've had people from Vancouver all the way down to Burnaby. We've had people from Toronto all the way down to Mississauga. And tonight, we have someone coming to us from New Orleans, and I can't wait for it. This is so very exciting. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I'm just going to sing Jim Croce for the next 50 minutes. Would you like that? Who else wants a bit of Jim Croce? We got any Croce crotches in the crowd tonight? That's what Jim Croce called his fans. The Croce crotches. I shouldn't talk so poorly about Jim Croce. He's no longer with us. Let's begin with tonight's show. Let us welcome our first guest. You have known him as the featured star, according to some, of Nerd versus Noob. You also know him as the man with the largest headphones this side of the plateau. Let us welcome the one and the only Marc Rowland to At Home with James. Hi, Marc. Right. How are you?
I'm doing okay. My screen looks a bit funky. Am I looking fine on your screen?
Yeah, you look great. Are you wearing a turtleneck right now?
No, I just did my buttons up all the way.
Oh, I thought you were going full Steve Jobs, another classic nerd.
I'm doing mini Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So you've combined Steve Jobs and Vern Troyer of Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh man, I saw a great sort of Austin Powers poster But it was a competition, and they used Austin Powers as the image, but it wasn't him. So it was just like, anyway, I want to take a photo of it, and I'm going to show it to you.
That'd be great. Mark, you're in pretty good spirits for a person who has been on what I would like to call the greatest losing streak in at-home history.
Well, here's the thing, James, is I said I wouldn't be back.
Yep.
But you told me that you had something in mind.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, for people who don't know, once a week, Mark, you show up, you compete against someone in a role-playing game called Nerd versus Noob, where you are given 3 different scenarios with 3 different genres, and it is your job and your duty, not to speak of it as such a small feat, to complete the mission in this scenario. And I've always looked at you as the nerdiest person I know, the geekiest person I know, the biggest dork that I know in terms of nerd culture. Otherwise, you're a fairly grounded person, and I use the term fairly strongly. But you have yet to win, and I have been disappointed by that, and I think you've been disappointed in the losses.
I have been very disappointed. I mean, I have to say, I'm kind of suspicious of this game master. Like, I kind of feel like maybe he has it out for me.
Yeah.
Or something like
well, it could be that. I have some information. Now, people think that I curate these scenarios. I don't. I'm not familiar with the lingo or the ways in which that these scenarios are built.
You don't know anything about nerd stuff.
This is true. I have gone to someone who is only known as the game master. But the weird thing is that his email address is overlord616sith@gmail.com, but he signs his emails as game master. Now, I let him know that you refused to come back. I convinced you to come back, and then the game master got back to me, and he said, I'm not convinced this Marc Rowland character is as nerdy as he claims to be, or as you claim for him to be. Therefore, he is not allowed to compete in Nerd versus Noob any longer. That's why you're here alone tonight. But as I have the ability to do, Mark, I have greased the proverbial wheel. I have talked the game master, overlord616sith@gmail.com, to allow you to take a test, a nerd test, in order to determine whether or not you are worthy to continue being this show's resident nerd in Nerd versus Noob.
James, you read my bio. Okay. You've seen all my books, quantum physics, right? Heath biology. I am a nerd. Like, I'm a nerd.
You don't have to sell me on this. You do not have to sell me. You have on multiple occasions attempted to get me to go into the Warhammer store. I have yet to go in, nor will I ever.
I really want you to come in with me. I think you'd appreciate some of the models.
Yeah.
I think you'd like some of the painting that's been done.
Yeah, this is like similar to a conversation I was having last night with one of our guests, Taylor McMillan. We spoke about how when you're with a significant other, they often try, at times, to get you to go to things you don't want to go to. That's what this feels like, is that you and I are in some type of romantic partnership, and it would just really mean a lot to you if I entered the Eaton Center's Warhammer shop.
Well, you do come in with me to the board game store.
Yeah, that one's fun. There's a lot more to make fun of there.
Well, no, you should come into the war. There's way more to make fun of.
Yeah, I just think I'd feel a little bit depressed making fun of the people in the Warhammer
talk to one of the guys and see what he says.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that someone named Gabriel is going to make fun of me.
I don't know. Or
in any event,
or something. Yeah.
With all this being said, I know that you're a nerd. I believe in your nerd abilities, but the Game Master doesn't.
I definitely am.
The Game Master has put together a series of questions called the Nerd Quiz to determine whether or not you have what it takes to continue being a part of this segment.
Okay. I just want to know who this Game Master is.
I don't know either. I found him on Reddit.
Okay.
Which what I call like the underbelly of the internet. But let's just be happy I didn't find him on 4chan.
Well, if you found him on 1D4chan, then I'd be impressed.
Well, I know that you're a frequenter of 4chan, so
no, not 4chan, 1D4chan.
I'm not familiar, nor do I want to be. Mark, I guess the question now is, do you want to take this quiz?
Well, do I have a choice?
Of course you do.
Well, what is it? It's like either leave the show or what?
Well,
or
yeah, that's correct. I'll just check in right now. Smooth Carla, who's working the board tonight. So if I understand correctly, if Mark declines taking the quiz, you're going to kick him out right away on the orders of the Game Master?
Yeah, we're going to kick him right out of that Zoom chat. Bye-bye, Mark. Well, you're safe for now.
Great. So
smooth.
Yeah, well, easy, Mark. Easy. Do you want to take the quiz?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to prove myself.
All right. So
James,
let us begin. Okay. Look, I believe you. You have 8 questions with 8 separate categories. Mark, are you ready for your first category?
I'm ready.
Your first category, this is lucky for you, is Star Trek. Each question of each category comes with a multiple choice. Are you ready?
Yes.
Your first question, and if you're in the chat right now on twitch.tv/@homewithjames, feel free to give your own answers, but let's hope Mark isn't watching. Mark, your first question. Where on the Enterprise is Picard when he first utters the phrase, "Make it so"? Your options are the engine room, cargo bay 1, the battle bridge, in bed getting off.
So, battle bridge, and what were the other ones? Engineering?
Engine room, cargo bay 1, the battle bridge, or in bed getting off.
So, make it so. It's probably the first episode, the pilot, which is Farpoint. When they go to Farpoint Station. I don't.
Now, keep in mind, we're not looking for a pilot episode breakdown.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember whether or not they did a saucer separation.
Well, as you think about this, I want to provide a fun fact. The famous line, "Make it so," was actually an ad-lib line. Actor Patrick Stewart famously hated the writers and would actively change the lines, hoping to anger them. To the writers' chagrin, the line made it into the show and became one of the most famous lines from the series. Mark, we're going to need an answer. Once again, the engine room, cargo bay 1, the battle bridge, or in bed getting off.
I'm gonna say battle bridge.
Mark, is that your ultimate response?
That's my ultimate response.
You are correct. The battle bridge is the correct answer. So you now have 1 nerd point.
Fantastic. James, I have to say, what I thought of is there's no way, like Picard is rarely in cargo bay 1. It's not often that he's in engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Battle bridge was the most likely. And getting on, he doesn't need to say make it so, it just happens.
Keeping in mind the answer is getting off in bed.
Well, sorry, getting off.
Which I'm surprised you didn't take because we know you have a history of bringing eroticism into your responses. Let's move on to the next category, which is Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
One of, if not the most classic ways to make fun of nerds in history.
Let us begin. Say Dungeons and Dragons?
This is correct. Your question is,
okay.
What year was the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons published?
Okay.
1974, 1983, 1970, or 2020?
74, I'll say.
Is that your ultimate answer?
Yeah.
Mark, you are now 2 for 2 in the nerd quiz. And once again, we have another fun fact. Gary Gygax is an ex-race car driver who, after suffering a devastating head injury, began seeing creatures, monsters, and wizards. He drew everything down and began working on the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons. This horrific head injury might have ended his racing career, but in 1974, he gave birth to a fantasy genre. Mark, you're doing splendid right now.
I'm nervous, I have to say. I mean,
Well-
I'm glad I'm 2 for 2, but I'm expecting the worst.
Well, of course, the questions are going to get more difficult. Your next genre is video games.
Oh, God. Okay.
The question is as follows. Mark, what is the name of the first ever video game? Your possible answers are Ass Punisher, Tennis for Two.
Wait, what was the second one?
Your answers or potential answers are Ass Punisher, Tennis for Two, Space Lasers, or Dream Fight.
Tennis for Two.
Is that your ultimate answer?
Yes.
Mark, you have now acquired 3 nerd points. Another fun fact, Tennis for Two was created by physicist William Higginbotham and displayed at the Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York in 1958. His colleagues laughed him out of the room, which sent William into a spiral. He went on to create many more video games that became progressively more R-rated. Even though they were not commercially successful, William is still considered the grandfather of modern video games and also was the creator of Ass Punisher.
That's not true.
Let us move on to our next question.
No.
Mark, are you ready
That's
for your
not true.
follow-up genre?
Who wrote these questions? This is damn Game Master.
It's from
He's
the
perverted one.
this is from the Encyclopedia of Nerds.
Okay.
Your next category, one of, if not the greatest ways to make fun of nerds ever, math.
Okay.
Mark, Abigail is 6 years older than Jonathan. 6 years ago, she was twice as old as he. How old is each now? So I'm going to ask you that one more time. Abigail.
I only get one? Okay.
Abigail is
Abigail.
6 years older than Jonathan. 6 years ago, she was twice as old. How old is each now? Your possible answers are Jonathan 4, Abigail 22. Jonathan 12, Abigail 18. Jonathan 14, Abigail 34, or who cares?
Okay. Very difficult because you read that so quickly. You said Abigail's 6 years older, and 6 years ago she was twice as old. You said Abigail 18 and the other person 12?
Mm-hmm.
Because so that's it. That's the one. 18 and 12.
Okay, is that your ultimate response?
Yes.
Mark, I want to acknowledge that I think you're getting more nervous because I looked away from the screen, and when I came back, you were incredibly close to your camera.
I moved the camera to a different position so I didn't have to hold it anymore.
Mark, you have acquired another nerd point. You are now up to 4 possible nerd points out of 4 possible nerd points.
Yeah. Okay.
Fun fact, 18 is the only number that is twice the sum of its digits. 18 is also the age most people drop out of school, try drugs, and do alcohol for the first time, according to the Encyclopedia of Nerds. Mark, you have reached the halfway point of the nerd quiz. Are you ready for your next category?
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm ready.
One of the most popular nerd categories, while at the same time, one of the most reviled nerd things. Mark, your next category, My Little Pony.
Not my thing.
Which you and your buddies on 4chan love. Your question.
4chan. Okay, yeah, 4chan.
Your question is, this pony will always be truthful with her friends, even if it gets her in trouble. The possible answers are Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Diane, or Fluttershy.
Oh, God. Oh.
And I'm gonna repeat this question just so you really understand it, and just so it's in the tone of your enjoyment from My Little Pony. I'm gonna read it like it's from My Little Pony.
Oh yeah, give me a yeah.
This pony will always be truthful with her friends, even if it gets her in trouble.
Okay, the first and the last sound the most realistic.
Oh, you're saying Diane isn't realistic?
No. And what was B?
Your possible answers are Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Diane, or Fluttershy.
Okay, Pinkie Pie, no. Fluttershy doesn't sound like a pony that's going to be like forthcoming in truths. So therefore, Applejack is the answer.
Mark, is that your ultimate answer?
This is the ultimate answer from me.
Mark, you have now acquired 5 nerd points. Fun fact, Party Pony, aka Cheese Sandwich, who only appeared once in the show, was an instant flop with teens, children, and men over the age of 40. It is the only time a pony was taken out of the show and escorted to a greener pasture. To this day, a gravestone with Cheese Sandwich's name can be seen in the far distant behind Pinkie Pie's house. Mark, are you ready for your next question?
Yeah, cheese. What does cheese sandwich look like?
I'm not familiar. You might know as a fan of the show. Now, this next category, I feel uncomfortable even reading it because it's not only nerdy, but incredibly boring.
Okay. Yeah. Is
Mark,
it space?
Your next category is geology.
Oh, okay.
Mark, what type of rock is formed by extreme pressure and heat over a long time? Your possible answers are igneous, metamorphic, Dwayne Johnson, or anthropomorphic.
It's going to be metamorphic.
Is that your ultimate response?
Yeah.
Mark, you are once again correct, and you now have 6 nerd points.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact, Dwayne Johnson was 6'4" and 225 pounds when in high school. Students apparently thought he was actually an undercover police officer, but is now suffering from the COVID-19 virus. Mark, are you ready for your next response? Or rather, your next question in which a response will be rendered?
I shall render it.
Let's begin. Your next category is Doctor Who.
Okay. Damn.
Mark, what is the name of the song the 10th Doctor plays in the TARDIS in Tooth and Claw? The possible answers are Taste It, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, Freaking in the Bushes, Hold On, I'm Coming.
What?
Once again, what is the name of the song the 10th Doctor plays in the TARDIS in the Tooth and Claw? Now, I've never seen Doctor Who. I know nothing about it. Perhaps this is pronounced tardy in the Tooth and Claw?
No, it's the TARDIS.
Great. So your answers
it's
are...
larger inside than it is outside. It travels through time.
Taste It, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, Freaking in the Bushes, or Hold On, I'm Coming.
None of these sound real, James.
One of them is correct.
Look. Are you lying to me? Is the Game Master lying to me? This is Game Master.
To my knowledge,
this is Game Master written all over it.
I have every question and answer with correct responses. One of these is the correct response. Taste It, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, Freaking in the Bushes.
Okay, 2 B.
Is that your ultimate answer?
Oh, yes, it is.
Mark, you are correct. The answer is Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. Fun fact, in episode 46, Frozen in Time, when the Doctor and Lucy are running through the Gamma-Rax chambers, you can see a room filled with cryopods. If you look closely, one pod is occupied by a scruffy fellow. This was a homeless man who wandered on set and was looking for a place to rest. The director loved it and decided to give the man a job for the remainder of the season. He went on to pick Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick to play in this episode. Mark, you have 7 nerd points out of 8 nerd points.
Okay. How many do I need?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
But first, the final question.
Hold on, James, because I was doing a little bit of research. You told me that the email address of the Game Master was like Game Master 616.
No, it was Overlord 616 Sith at gmail.com.
Okay, 616 area code is West Michigan.
Okay.
I think that gives us a bit of a lead as to who and where that that Game Lord might be.
Okay, so he
Overlord.
might be based out of Michigan.
Yeah, largest city, Grand Rapids, West in Michigan.
So he might be in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That's my guess. Okay,
Mark, you can't stall any longer. Are you ready for your final question?
I'm prepared.
One of the more underrated nerd things is the category that you are about to encounter. Your final category is magic tricks.
Interesting. Okay. I've been watching a lot of Fool Us by Penn and Teller, so maybe that'll help me.
I'm not familiar, but let us begin. P.T. Selbit was an English magician who cut through conventions of time and invented one of the first jaw-dropping illusions. Which of these tricks was that illusion? Your possible answers include escaping from a tank of water, sword swallowing, getting a woman to speak to him, or sawing a woman in half. Once again,
I'm going to go with sawing a woman in half.
Is that your ultimate response?
Yes, it is.
Mark, you have answered every single question correctly.
All right.
8 out of 8 possible nerd points.
Nice.
Fun fact, somewhere in between 50 AD and 300 AD, a group called Acceltabulary used stones and small vinegar cups to perform the well-known ball and cups routine. The trick was so popular for a few weeks, but then people began to see the tricksters for what they really were, creeps. They were shunned and not allowed to attend parties or social gatherings. Mark, I can confirm that the Game Master is not watching this. He has never watched an episode of this show because he is part of a D&D group every night of the week. But he does watch every episode right here because they are banked on twitch.tv/@homewithjames. He will be checking in with this. And of course, I let you know that I think you're the largest nerd that I know. I will be singing your praises to the Game Master when I send him an email to overlord616sith@gmail.com.
Now, James, we got to look into this West Michigan Grand Rapids connection.
Nerd. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I want you to look into it and perhaps you can give me an update.
All right.
All right. Well, Mark, how do you feel?
Man, I feel good. I feel vindicated. I feel like I finally got to prove myself. I've had a really rough time.
Yes. Well, yeah, you were very upset last week, and I understand, but you've really done a fantastic job tonight. Out of curiosity, how many of the questions did you anticipate that you would get right and wrong?
I mean, for the most part, a lot of them were due to deduction, but that's one of the abilities of a nerd.
Great.
To be able to take all available information. Yeah. It's a lot like Sherlock Holmes.
Great. So, well, maybe Sherlock Holmes will be a category next week. Mark, thank you so much for being here and congratulations. I feel like you're on the road to nerdy recovery.
Thanks very much, James. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. That is Marc Rowland, folks. This is the Marc Rowland that I've been talking about for years. The one that I've been talking about to people and behind his back. When I say, you think your cousin Marcus is a nerd? You think your little brother Colin is a nerd? You think the guy Gabriel at the Hammer, the Warhammer store, that's how you know I'm not a nerd. I call it the Hammer store. This guy, Mark, that I know is a nerd. On the road to recovery. Smooth Carla, what did you think of Mark's performance in that edition of Nerd Quiz?
Well, I gotta give it to Mark. He really proved me wrong. 8 out of 8 is more than great. Wow.
And Smooth Carla, just out of curiosity, did you find yourself answering any of the questions out there in the booth?
I got them all wrong.
You want to know why, Smooth Carla? Because smooth people like you are not nerds.
Well, I could be a nerd if I wanted to.
Well, let's pause that there. I don't want us to go too deep into this, but it's something to think about as the night goes on. We are about to welcome our next guest. You might remember her from multiple appearances on this show. I keep saying notorious. The Rock's not notorious. This person's not, she might be notorious. Who am I to project? Her notoriety includes providing some serious CanCon during CanCon week in the years of yore on Instagram Live. Oh, God, that was a nerd voice. Mark is rubbing off on me. Folks, let us welcome our second guest this evening, the one, the only. She's recently moved back to Montreal, Alex Brown, to At Home with James.
Hello, James.
Alex, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
How does it feel? I'm fine. How does it feel to be back?
It feels good.
Yeah.
We were living in a basement in Toronto, so
which was a very nice apartment. I slept on your floor once.
Yes, you did. Yeah. And it's just nice being above ground, I think.
Do you feel like you're home now? Do you feel, for people who don't know, Alex was living in Toronto for 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you feel home, or do you feel like, oh, I miss Toronto?
I miss some people in Toronto. I don't miss Toronto itself. And I definitely
anytime you move, you miss people, right? Like when you probably moved to Toronto, you're like, oh, I miss all these Montreal people.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I miss James. And
oh, please, come on now. Alex, hey, what did you think about my singing off the top of the show?
I thought it was nice. Yeah. I was what did you call the fans? Crotchy?
Croachy's crotches.
Okay. I was thinking, I immediately thought of like Croach Head.
Oh, like kind of like is that a thing people call drug? Like maybe people who smoke weed that only like smoking roaches.
Oh, roach head?
Maybe they only smoke roaches. That could be Croach Head.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know
anything head is like a fan?
Yeah.
You're like a Sex in the City head.
Yeah,
that's not a good example.
Yeah, no. But you know what? It was worth a try. Do you know do you spend any time singing at home, Alex?
Sometimes if I know I'm like totally alone and like the acoustics feel good, I will sing.
Yeah.
I actually used to take voice lessons when I was in high school.
Okay. So would people who know you, the people who you allow them to hear your voice, would they say, you'd be surprised, but this Alex Brown, not a bad singer?
Well, yeah, but you'd be like hard pressed to actually find somebody who has actually heard me sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to song that you enjoy?
Oh man, this is like I'm a musical theater head, so I have like a bunch of musical theater songs.
Well, people don't know this, but I witnessed you do a musical improv grad show.
Oh yes, you did.
At a 12 p.m. start time. I was one of 3 audience members in the audience,
including one girl in my classes. The other 2 people were this girl in my class's parents.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's not get sidetracked here with improv talk. Do you have any go-to songs?
Well, I really love the musical Sweeney Todd.
Yep.
The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. So there's one song that I like called "The Worst Pies in London." That's
will you give us any?
Absolutely not. No.
Is it sung with like the worst pies in London?
It's called "The Worst Pies in London." It's like very patter, like
right.
The lingo now, so it's very.
I'm imagining like a real like crusty Brit, like.
Oh,
these are the worst pies in London.
Well, no, it was okay. So the role was originally portrayed by Angela Lansbury of Murder She Wrote, of course, and Beauty and the Beast.
And to be fair, I was doing an Angela Lansbury impersonation.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I wanted to.
There's been a murder here. I need to find who's been murdering people.
That just sounds exactly like Jessica Fletcher.
Yeah.
Exactly who she is. It's sung by her. She is pretty rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Some might say she's the true villain of the entire story.
Well, I don't want to cause I've already caused enough controversy with my hot takes on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and telling people that we're all trying to pick up trash. Alex, look, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I have a birthday coming up on Saturday, September 5th.
Yeah.
We're in the times of COVID. Mm-hmm. If I were to ask you, strike me as someone who enjoys celebrating their birthday.
I do. I love a birthday.
Okay, so if you knowing me, I think we're there. I think we know each other. It's been many years.
Yeah, we've met.
We've met. We've done a thing or two. How would you, if you had to, Alex, suggest that I spend my birthday?
Like a COVID, and we're talking COVID.
Yeah, we can't have this hypothetical because everyone's going to say, well, James, I think you'd want to be in a hot tub full of Coca-Cola and you'd be surrounded by hockey players.
Right.
People just think of me like I'm this loser, like this Coke drinking, this Coke, which I am. I'm not a loser, but I like Coke, but it's like I've turned into a parody of myself. But anyways, that'll be for the James therapy episode.
Yeah.
If you had to choose.
I think, okay, so I know you love Christmas.
Oh.
So I feel like, I think you should just put up your Christmas trees early. You know, and just like maybe you should do like a photo shoot with your Christmas tree.
Oh, see, a photo shoot would be fun. I see. Here's the thing. I like the idea of a Christmas themed birthday. Mm-hmm. I have 4 Christmas trees and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Mark, I said to him last year, I said, Mark, you want to come over and help with my Christmas stuff? Mm-hmm. This nerd laid on my couch and didn't help me with one thing. But I'm going to be honest. Guilty as charged. I'm one of those people.
It has to be all.
Yeah. If someone's like, I got to sit there and I go, oh man, they put a red right next to a red. I got to wait for them to leave so I can exchange it for a silver or a blue or a porcelain Tim Hortons cup.
You can't have the colors. It can't be too jumbled.
Thank you.
I know how to decorate a tree.
A Christmas themed birthday sounds great.
I think in these unprecedented times.
Yeah.
I think you just got to go with what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And so I think you really love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So, just treat yourself, maybe get yourself a present.
You're not the first person to say that to me this week. Smooth Carla, you were suggesting that I buy myself a new blanket for the couch.
Oh, that's right. Reach your ultimate coziness. Get that blanket customized at your favorite store, maybe with a At Home with James logo.
Oh, a logo.
Also, Smooth Carla is the spokesperson for blankets in general.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask if that was an ad.
Smooth Carla, that was an ad?
Oh, definitely. We'll be launching fun to launch my blanket business soon.
We'll be launching fun to launch the blanket business soon.
A fun fund.
Oh, it's a fun fund. Okay, I understand now.
It's not just
Alex,
fun.
Not to make this whole thing about myself.
Well, it's your birthday though.
Yeah, I'm gonna party like it's my birthday. I'm gonna how did you spend your birthday this year?
What the hell did I do? Oh, well, friend of the show, Vance Gillis. He made me a cake, which was
and how was it? What are Vance Gillis's friend of the show? What are his cake skills as such?
They were really good. So my mom always made me a Smartie cake, which is basically a like out of the box chocolate cake with chocolate frosting.
Yep.
Meticulously put Smarties all over it on the outside. So I asked for one of those, and then so he did that, but he did it from scratch. I think this was actually the first cake he'd ever made from scratch. So it was a little dense, I will say, but it was very delicious.
Yeah.
Really appreciative of it.
Okay, so you had a COVID birthday. I'm having a COVID birthday. Yeah. Most people are going to have a COVID birthday.
It's come to that, it looks like. Yeah.
For the next couple of years, I think we'll be having COVID birthdays.
I'll get used to it.
I'm sorry if you're out there and you're thinking things are going to be good.
Yeah,
but they're not.
I thought like, oh, May, my birthday will be great. Like we'll be.
Well, everyone early on was like, everyone was just saying, oh, when the summer comes.
Yeah.
That's Roseanne, by the way.
I could tell, yeah.
Yeah. When the summer comes, we'll have. That's also my Louis Anderson as well.
Yeah, that's great.
I did a great Louis Anderson on the show last night.
Oh yeah.
Hey, can we? What are you doing? No.
It's like he's there. It's like he's here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. These are a collection of reviled characters that nobody likes that I do on the show.
That's
Alex, have you heard of my character Chubby Belly?
I think I've missed him actually.
Yeah, it's the grown man who cosplays as a cute cat.
Oh no.
But he's always talking about how nobody likes it. Is anyone coming to my birthday this year?
No.
Alex, do you want to rub my belly? I'm just a kitty cat living in a world.
But what would he say about having a COVID birthday? He wouldn't like it.
I wish someone would bring me some Friskies covered in Smarties. He doesn't say Smarties. He says Smarties. He's from the East Coast.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Don't misrepresent my people.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that from, is Smarties? Would that be Newfoundland? Maybe he's got a Newfoundland accent. Maybe he's from Newfoundland. How do you do that voice with a Newfoundland accent? I wanted to go through the door. Wanted to get through I just wanted to get through the door and get a box of Smarties.
Oh no.
That's
like when you just, oh my God, it's really taking me back.
Well, the problem with this character is Sid Rock, friend of the show, #1 viewer of all time, constantly worries that I'm going to be canceled for doing Chubby Belly.
Sure.
Yeah.
The concern is real. I could see it.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, everyone, I saw on the Twitter that I've been canceled.
The Twitter.
Yeah, he says the. I don't like him from he's just gonna be
just like, yeah.
Oh, James, I noticed you didn't invite me to your birthday. I guess I'm just too cute for your birthday. You were upset that all the girls were going to talk to you on your birthday. I saw you talking now. Now I can't help but make him from Newfoundland.
I think he's just that's like part of his lore now.
Yeah. People are like, is this Chubby Belly guy?
Yeah.
From Newfoundland?
Right.
No, it's just part of his lore. Look, Alex, I want to continue. Do you have a memorable birthday that sticks out in your mind?
Well, okay, you asked me that before the show, so I was like trying to think, and I'm pretty sure probably one of the most memorable birthdays I had was I went to like a house party, and it wasn't like for my birthday, but it was like, it's house party adjacent. You know,
yep.
Like, we're just going.
Yep.
But I was making it all about me. And I went.
And how was it? Now come again. Now, how old are you there?
I think I was like 19. So
that's like an age where we want it to be about us. I think, sure.
Yeah, and I got really excited. My friends got me an American Apparel cardigan. So
great!
That was of that time. I was very excited. That's an expensive cardigan.
Yep.
And so my two friends that I went with had just moved in together. So they were like, it's like moving out of you're not in residence. It's your very first apartment.
Yep.
So I think like tensions were kind of high with them to begin with. And then Nick's like drinking all night and like this whole thing. So I was like, it's my birthday, like feeling those birthday vibes or whatever. Yep. And then they started to sort of have like a disagreement at the party. And then it sort of just escalated into like a full-on fight.
Is everyone a little drunk right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're 19.
Yep.
We're from, like, we live in Nova Scotia.
Yep.
It's a whole thing. So, yeah, I think things were escalating. And then it was like, okay, it's time to go. Yeah. By that time, it's like full-blown fight between my two friends. And I was like staying with them because I actually lived with my parents. And, it was like a whole thing. So my one friend who, for some reason, there was only one set of keys to the apartment. So she got so mad that she threw the keys. It was like 3:00 in the morning. She threw the keys into a field. And that's basically like how my birthday went from then on, was like
that's something that I did as a toddler.
Yeah, that's a toddler move.
I took my great grandmother's watch.
Oh no!
And I don't know how old I was, but this is one of my earliest memories. I'm gonna guess 3 or 4, and I just chucked it in. I remember the image is burned into my brain.
Yeah.
Because as a little kid doesn't throw it, I chucked it into the bushes, and I remember it. I just chucked it in there, and that's what your grown-up friends did.
What my 19-year-old, first year university, or I guess, out of first year university.
Yep.
Drunk roommate at the time decided was appropriate.
And are you still friends with this person?
Well, no. I mean, and not because of that. It's not like, oh, we're immediately. It was just sort of like, we sort of grew apart over the years.
Yeah.
But, nothing but respect for her except for that moment.
I like that you just cleared that up there. Like nothing but respect. It's all good.
Yeah, my like politician side.
Well, so on the topic of your birthday, if you were able to celebrate it in a non-COVID way this year, let's play with hypotheticals. What would you have done?
Sure. Well, I feel like the last few years I actually really liked having a brunch with like some friends, which you attended. You came to one of those.
Yes, I do remember that.
Mini croissants.
Yes, it was at your home.
Yeah.
I remember really doing that. In true James fashion, when I go to any type of party, and this has been discussed on the show, I sit in a seat and I don't get up unless I'm leaving.
Yep. That's exactly what you did. You sat in like a wooden chair that was like in the corner in my kitchen.
Yep.
And you brought a bag of those, like, I think you can get them at a gas station. Those like mini croissants.
Yeah, the ones that are like eating dish sponges.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I may have been the only person who ate them.
Yeah, maybe. I think I had one like after, like later on. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I suspect those would be good if you spread a little bit of jelly on it. It's like a 2-bite croissant, and they're not good, but they're good enough.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're getting what you want out of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Alex, I love every time you come on here.
Aww.
We have a chemistry that is unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow. I don't know if that's a compliment or like how I should take it.
I made myself laugh. I'm experimenting with hyperbole.
I love it. Yeah, you got poetic off the top with the
well, this person was talking about, someone was like, I've got no regimen. I've been picking up garbage. And that's what it made me think of, that we're all just looking. This person has, I don't want to say reduce themselves, because it is a very noble thing to pick up garbage. You're doing something for a nice cause, and you're doing it for society. But it struck me as like, we are at the point as people, we're like, I need to do something. I better pick up trash. And I think like I'm like, I need to find my trash. Yeah, and I don't think it's a far-fetched statement to say that I would like if this show could be these viewers' proverbial trash.
Yeah, I think.
But in fairness, I think we do a nice show, Alex. I think we're doing a nice show.
I think so.
Yeah, you're part of the at-home family, I think.
So. Yeah. I'm, I show up every once in a while. We talk about cigarettes or Canadian television. Yeah,
birthdays, Canadian television. I do my carousel of fun voices. Yeah.
It's like going through like a voice acting demo reel.
Yeah. It's maybe I should actually consider making one of those one day.
Yeah, do that.
Well, in fairness, I was the voice of Vileta Canada for 3 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because remember, folks, if it works for me, it works for you. Alex, thanks so much for being here this evening.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see each other. We'll see each other for my Christmas birthday. Yeah.
If not, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas themed birthday.
Nothing but respect, Alex. Take care.
Bye.
That is Alex Brown. She's here often, but you know who else is going to be here tomorrow night? Dimitri Kires, the man who has been pickled by alcohol, will be bringing his boat into shore tomorrow night at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But in addition, last but certainly not least, Carla Ma will be bringing us the Crapola Corner. But right now, we're talking to Smooth Carla. Smooth Carla, you have a birthday coming up. Do you have any plans?
My birthday's not for quite a while, James. It's in December.
Well, December's right around the corner. Once September hits and you see those pumpkins, it's just a precursor to your birthday.
I suppose so. I get really excited whenever I smell chimney smoke.
Oh, well, who doesn't? Smooth Carla, remember when I was Smooth James last week?
Oh, yeah, boy, do I ever.
Was that good? Was that a thing that you enjoyed?
Oh, it was so smooth. You really should put together that voiceover demo.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this will be like, folks, this is James McGee. This is my voice demo. My first voice, Smooth James. Hey, you know what would be great right now? If we could sit on the couch with a lovely, warm, cozy blanket. But why stop there? Let's light a candle. It can be any scent that you want. Autumn breeze, winter musk, or even lilac summer. And where can you find these items and so many more? Well, at HomeSense, attached to most winners.
That
Thank
was
you.
too much, James.
Yeah, maybe too smooth. Too smooth.
You're going to take all the voiceover jobs at that rate.
Yeah. All the other Chubby Belly, can you leave some for us, please?
Oh, that worked. That truly balanced out the voiceover scales.
Yeah, I think it would balance the voiceover scales. Smooth Carla, I guess it's time for our last guest tonight.
All right.
Let's do it. Our next guest, as mentioned in my hyperbolic introduction tonight, is coming to us from New Orleans. Let us welcome a man who wears many hats. He is coincidentally known to most people as, of course, from being from New Orleans. His name is Louis Zianna. Let us welcome him to At Home with James. Louis, how's it going, buddy?
Hello there, young man. How are you?
I'm doing great. This, of course, we have corresponded on Instagram and a variety of other platforms.
Yes,
Louis,
right.
I'm doing great. I'm doing even better that you're here now.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. And I just wanted to take a few moments here, say a few words about my business, which is running these tours here in Montreal.
Okay, so you're here.
I'm here now. I'm here in Montreal. I used to, of course, be from Louisiana. That may be where you recognize my voice from. But long story short, a couple months ago, I was out on my shrimp boat and a great gust of wind came up and knocked me into the water. And I got trapped in a shrimp trap, and it floated all the way out to Florida. And then a dolphin came along and he freed me from my trap, but I kept floating. And then I lost consciousness somewhere around South Carolina, and that was the last of it. And then I woke up. Next thing I knew, I was in Brassard, which is not so great because I don't speak French.
Yep.
So obviously the border's closed, and I'm just trying to get some money together by doing these tours here and go back home eventually.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. So you were the captain of a shrimp boat in Louisiana.
Yeah, well, I wore many hats. You see, I had a shrimp boat. I also did a swamp tour boat. I also had a fire boat. That's like a fire truck, but it's a boat out on the water.
Okay.
I also had a medical evacuation boat, which is sort of like an ambulance, but it's on a boat. I had very many different businesses that I ran there.
Well, you said that you got caught in a shrimp trap and then dolphins set you free.
Yeah, I don't mean to get into it because that dolphin, he wanted me to keep it a secret. So
okay, so what we
reveal his identity.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to compromise any type of integrity or confidentiality agreement that you've got with this dolphin. And now you find yourself in Montreal. How does it feel to be giving bus tours as opposed to conducting a shrimp boat or boats of various types?
Well, I tell you, it's not that different, really. It's not really that different from anything else. I'm a straight shooter. I deal in facts. I deal in truth. I don't deal in exaggeration or assumption or innuendo. That's not how I do it.
Okay.
So, I don't know that much about Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
What I've gleaned so far, I'm very honest with people when I take them around and I show them the city. So, you get what you get. I'm not selling anything that I'm not giving you. So.
Well, so how has it been to conduct these tours but not know enough about the city? It feels like those two things kind of need to go hand in hand, and certainly not to project, Louis.
No, not at all. Well, you see, what I do is as I'm driving around, which I'll take you out here now, and I'll take you through the city a little bit. I just relate what I know, and then sometimes I talk a little bit about New Orleans or Louisiana. So
great.
Like here is the Tam Tams up by Montreal, and this is where a bunch of filthy, angry people come to bang on some drums and dance and smoke their marijuana pot. And it reminds me of being back home and cradling the little baby gator that you find out on the the swamp that's been abandoned by his parents, you know.
Mhm.
And it's just like all these crazy folks here, you know. They're not threatening unless they're threatened, so you just got to be kind with them, even though they disgust you and repel you and frighten you, you know.
Well, this is true, of course. The famous Montreal Tam Tams on Mount Royal, where people on Sundays congregate to bang on drums and smoke marijuana or possibly hashish, if you're into that sort of thing.
I'm afraid I don't know what that is, young man.
You and I both. Louis, I've never smoked hashish in my life.
Well, that's up to you. That's your decision. I'm not going to put no judgment on it. That's not.
Well, I'll say this: as a new Montrealer, you have categorized the Tam Tams nicely. What else have you found?
Well, I've come by and found. Well, to be honest, you know, this place here is quite wonderful, but I realized that it's drawn some attention to the wrong place here. So this is, this is the money exchange place that I really like. It's just right here. But I realize people's eyes are being drawn up to the super sex, you know, which is, you're free to do whatever you like. Mm-hmm. I'm a happily married man. My wife of 34 years, Maureen, is back home. I have no need for a super sex, but if you do, and no judgment if you do, you can come here. Likewise, if you have to get, you know, your money changed, you can do that here too. Or if you got to do both.
Or if you're hungry, you can take a nice dinner to Zesto Resto.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zesto Resto has closed due to COVID.
Yeah.
Possibly also due to a super sex related outbreak. I'm not really sure.
I have some sad news. Club Super Sex has also been closed for some time now, but the sign stands true and strong to this day.
Huh. Wow. That's good to know. I should tell people this, you know. I wonder what's going to go in there next. Maybe they'll keep the sign.
Yeah. They'll just try to find a way to rebrand.
Imagine if they take like a business that doesn't belong there, like a daycare, and they keep that damn signage up.
Oh, it'll be horrible.
I don't mean to make jokes. That's not really.
No. You're allowed to make jokes. We can imagine if they put a Play-Doh factory in there, or what if they put in a dog shelter?
Son, I don't really care for your tone. I'm going to say I find it disrespectful.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Zianna.
That's Mr. Zianna.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Zianna. I apologize.
All right. Well, here we are. This is we've traveled on a little bit longer. This is Terrasse Saint-Ambroise.
I live very close to this terrace.
Mm-hmm. And this is a terrace. There's no front entrance. You got to go on the bike path to get here. So I just have the bus jumping over the lawn there. We drive up on it.
Is that legal?
What legal? To drive on the lawn?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Montreal. Everything's legal here.
All right. Well, fair enough. I also have a funny anecdote about the Saint-Ambroise terrace. About a month ago, I almost had a bathroom accident on a walk, and I had to rush onto the terrace to use the washroom. I'm very sorry, Mr. Zianna.
I thought there was more to the anecdote there.
No, that's the anecdote. Okay. I feel like maybe that's an inappropriate. So I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Mr. Zianna.
Okay, well, look, it's fine. Just don't date my daughter.
You have a daughter?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, what's she like?
She's a fine lady, but I don't want to get your hopes up by talking about her.
I'm a fine young man, Mr. Zianna.
Are you?
I've never smoked hashish.
I heard you disparaging Mr. Jim Croce early on. You know, Croce died in Louisiana.
I am a fan of the work of Jim Croce. I'll do any Jim Croce song you want.
Any Jim Croce song I want?
Yes, I assure you, especially his greatest hits.
Well, how about a Bad Leroy Brown? That would make me feel at home. I'm telling you.
You want a Bad Leroy Brown?
I would love it.
Well, would I be so bold to ask? Would you care to join me in a bit of Bad Leroy Brown?
I couldn't. I'm a straight shooter. I speak.
What?
I speak from the hip. That's all I do. I don't.
You're a straight shooter, and you can't even give me a bit of Bad Leroy Brown. What if I get you started?
Please do. I can sing on the chorus. That's all that I can sing.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first verse, and then because there's 2 verses before the chorus. I'll gesture to you and you give me the chorus, okay?
But you're going to do the chorus with me. We're going to do it together. It'll be a duet.
Let's do it together. It might sound terrible, but we'll try it, okay? And then we'll get into it. So you want a bit of bad Leroy Brown, huh?
I would like some bad Leroy Brown. Make me feel at home, you know? I've been here for months and it's not the same.
Well, you know, maybe we'll do New York's Not My Home, another song about not feeling the same by Jim Croce. Well, apparently you want bad Leroy Brown. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Zianna.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, please. Yes.
Here we go. Well, the south side of Chicago is the baddest part of town. And if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Now, Leroy, more than trouble. You see, he stands about 6'4". All those downtown ladies call him treetop a lover. All the men just call him sir.
And bad Leroy Brown.
Baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog. Yeah, we're getting along, Mr. Zianna.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I've turned things around here. This is also the end of my tour, actually. This is the view right here from Montreal. And
wonderful.
I gotta say, I miss it. I miss my home, but you made me feel comfortable. And God, look at that view. How can I be so homesick when I got that view right in front of me? You know? Yeah.
Well, look, we're happy to have you here, Mr. Zianna.
I'm happy to be here, at least for now.
Well, what's your favorite part of Montreal? Maybe unrelated to the tours, and of course, I don't want to force you to count this duet that we just did, but.
Favorite part of Montreal? Well, there's a restaurant I opened out.
Whoa! You opened a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called La Louisiane. And it's on Sherbrooke West. Is that the direction? Sherbrooke West.
That's NDG. Yeah. You're correct.
Look for it, folks.
You strike me as a bit of a crawdaddy.
I am a bit of a crawdaddy, boy. You're a straight shooter yourself. There,
I try to be a straight shooter. You know what? At first, I thought maybe you didn't like me too much, Mr. Zianna, but I think that we really were able to turn things around. I'm sorry about my stories, and I didn't intend to make it appear as if I was trying to hit on your daughter, whom I've never met. But I think that talking about and singing Jim Croce together was a nice treat.
I agree.
Well, Mr. Zianna, will you come back and see us again someday?
Well, that depends there, young man. I might be leaving the country, as soon as I can. As soon as they open up that border there. But if I'm still here, I'm happy to come on the show.
Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe if I do something on my birthday on Saturday, you can bring that bus over and we can celebrate together. Maybe we'll sing a song or two.
Well, only if you're paying, young man.
Oh, you know what? I think I got a crisp Canadian $5 bill. Baby blue.
Boy, that's worth 83 cents in America.
Well, you know what? There's more where that came from, Mr. Zianna.
Well, I best be going now. I got another tour starting up in a couple minutes.
Well, it's I wasn't aware of how there much daytime light there was out there, but I have my blinds closed.
Yeah, well, maybe you should open them up sometime.
Yeah, maybe I should, Mr.
Maybe you should
Zianna.
open them up sometime.
All right, okay then.
I'm being salted now.
Mr. Zianna, have a good night.
Good night, James.
Guys, that's our show tonight. I didn't come on here intending to sing Jim Croce. I didn't come on here intending to do Louis Anderson impersonations or do my famous chubby belly character or to do Smooth James or to do any of the other variety of voices that I've done. But I hope sincerely from the bottom of my 32 going on 33-year-old heart that not only have my guests been able to entertain you tonight, of course, Mr. Louis Zianna, Marc Rowland, and Alex Brown, I hope that through my comedic stylings, I've been able to entertain you. I hope that I've been able to provide you with a moment of reprise from our surroundings. They're not so kind to us. Remember, we used to be able to go to the mall and suck on a soda out of a straw for hours in the food court with all of our schoolyard chums. Remember the days of going to the arcade and squeezing a greasy knob in order to get that last space cube? Remember the days of skating at Place Bonaventure and then snacking on some crispy, warm French fries at Valentine? We may not be able to do that in the way that we remember and enjoy, but if, bear with me, if The Rock can get COVID and purchase the XFL, it means there are good and bad things coming our way at all times in life. And I sincerely hope that this little program, the show that people call At Home with James or James at Home or James Live, or the show that you do, I hope that this can be the reprise. I wish I could end things on a song, but I won't. It's been exhausted. Folks, tomorrow night, Dimitri Kires, Carlo Ma. Friday, Steph Mercier-Voyer. Saturday, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because it is the first, maybe last ever, James birthday bash blowout. Smooth Carla, do you have any insight on what's happening at the James birthday bash blowout on Saturday, September 5th at 9 p.m. right here on Twitch?
I have no idea. It's a total surprise, as many Saturdays have been.
It's true. We often have the Saturday surprise, so I guess this is going to be a bit of a Saturday surprise party for the gym bag. Well, I guess Smooth Carla didn't want to answer that. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Tell your friends about this. Tell your mom, dad, auntie, unkie, brother, sister, Grammy, Grampy, neighbor. Tell your worst enemy. Because look, there's only so many more shows that we can have like 14 viewers. Because if we don't crank things up to 30, I'm going to cancel this show. I'm going to cancel this goddamn show.
No, you can't cancel that show. No.
Okay, I'm not going to cancel the show. I was just teasing, guys. We all know that there's going to be a Christmas night episode of this show, right? I had the outro. I had the outro done, and then I had to keep talking. Guys, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and be well. Why did I keep talking? I could have just ended it.